places that have been forgotten by others. We go to the places no one else wants to go. And then I remember they began to apologize to Pastor Bonnke. They said, "Sir, please forgive us." They said, "We've heard of your great crusades in other places in Africa where millions of people have come." But they said, "This is such a small place." They said, "Even if everyone in the whole region comes, there might be 100,000 people." I was raised, my father's church had about 60 members, so 100,000 didn't sound too bad. The meetings began, people came, Evangelist Bonnke preached the gospel. I told him later, I said, "When I heard you preach the gospel, even though I grew up in the church, I heard the gospel literally hundreds of times. I said to Pastor Bonnke, when I heard you preach the gospel, I felt like I was hearing it for the first time. It was so clear. It was so compelling. It was so clean." You know, I'd always heard preachers that preach the gospel and they used fear as the major method to get people to give their lives to Jesus. And I always thought if someone can be moved by fear to get saved, then they can be moved by fear to leave. But when I heard Evangelist Bonnke preach, it wasn't fear, it was an irresistible desire to come to the foot of this wonderful Jesus. I thought to myself, why wouldn't anyone want to get saved? It's the most wonderful thing. And then I watched as he began to pray for the sick. Miracles started to happen. The blind eyes opened, the cripples walked. It was glorious. And then these people who had experienced the power of God all went home, back to their villages, back to their cities. And imagine when a blind man who's been blind all of his life goes back to the village where he grew up, and all of those people that have known him all of his life suddenly realize that now he can see. Do you know what's going to happen? The next night the whole clan is going to come to the crusade. People say, "How do you get so many people to come to the crusades?" We have a very simple marketing technique. The Holy Ghost heals them, they tell the story, and the crowd grows. That's it. And so, this crowd that started off relatively small at the beginning started to grow. Each night, growing bigger, bigger, bigger. The last night of the crusade, we were driving to the field, and I was sitting in the car with Pastor Bonnke, and he was telling me stories, and he told me about an unpublished journal that they had discovered in the Museum of David Livingstone. How many of you know the name David Livingstone?
Yeah.
David Livingstone was one of the pioneer missionaries to Africa. He blazed a trail that other missionaries followed in. He was a pioneer.